Okay, so I'm back with Luke 22, verses 1 through 7. Passover, also called the festival of unleavened bread, leavened bread, sorry, not for sure how to pronounce that, was here. Chief priests and religious leaders were asking for a way to kill Jesus. They feared losing their power and influence over the people. Judas allowed evil to influence him, which leads to him to betray Jesus. Judas seeks out the chief priests and discusses a plan to betray Jesus with the chief priests. Chief priests were happy that Judas came to them with a plan that would allow them to arrest Jesus without a public uproar. Chief priests offer Judas money in exchange for that, and Judas would betray Jesus when he was not around other people, when he would be alone. A Passover lamb was then killed and sacrificed for the meal of the feast. Passover was to remember how God saved the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. So then verse 8, Jesus tells Peter, "Go and prepare us the Passover that we may eat." Verse 9, the 12 disciples ask Jesus, "Where wilt thou that we prepare?" So basically, where do you want us to go? Jesus responds in verse 10, "Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he enter in, and ye shall say unto the good man of the house, The master saith unto there where the guest chamber, where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples. And he shall show you a large upper room, finished, there make ready." And in verse 13, the disciples went and found the good man and made ready the room for Passover. Verse 14, Jesus and the 12 disciples sat down to eat. Verse 15, Jesus said, "With desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer." Verse 16, Jesus continues speaking, "For I saith unto you, I will not eat any more thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God." Verse 17, Jesus took a cup and gave thanks, and then said, "Take this, and divide it amongst yourselves." Verse 18, "For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come." Verse 19, Jesus took bread and gave thanks and broke the bread. Jesus said, "This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me." Jesus continued in verse 20, saying, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you." Verse 21, Jesus continued, "But behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table." So, when we take communion, we do the bread first and then the wine, but here it's saying that he broke the bread first and then the drink, right? Did I read that right? Yeah, he says, "I will not eat until the kingdom of God," and then he took a cup. So how come I guess I never actually read the Last Supper part before, so I just assumed it was always right? Am I confusing myself? Yeah, he does bread first, then wine. What am I thinking? I don't know what I was thinking, sorry. For some reason I thought it was reversed, but it's not. He broke bread first, then he drank the wine. Yeah, that's how you take communion, the bread first. Sorry, for some reason I was like, this is weird. It reversed in my head, which I don't know why I thought that, sorry. Anyway, so now it's moving into he's telling the disciples that, amongst you is one that's going to betray me. So in verse 22, he continues talking and he says, and truly the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but was unto man by whom he is betrayed. And according to the Bible app on my phone, this is indicating that Jesus is saying that even though all that is about to happen is part of God's plan, it's still wrong. So he's saying Judas is fulfilling the prophecy and fulfilling something that has to happen, but that doesn't mean it's right. He's still betraying Jesus. In verse 23, the disciples discussed amongst themselves which of them would do such a thing. They were kind of confused, like, no, not us. Verse 24, the disciples also were discussing amongst them, well, if Jesus is dead, then who's next in line? Who holds the most power after Jesus? Verse 25, Jesus tells them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise leadership or lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But ye shall not be so, but he that is greatest among you, lead him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that doth serve. Verse 27, he continues, for whether is greater he that sitteth at meat, or he that serveth? Is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth. So Jesus is saying to be humble, leaders should be servants, prioritizing others first. Jesus says he is here to serve, not to be served. Verse 28, Jesus continues saying, ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations. So Jesus is thanking his disciples for staying with him. They remained faithful, and so we should remain faithful just like the disciples did, no matter what we face. Verse 29, and I appoint you unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me. Jesus is saying that God gave him a kingdom and that he is also giving us a kingdom. We will share in his glory and reign with him. In verse 30, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on the thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Jesus is letting the disciples know that they have a special place in his kingdom where they will eat and drink and judge the 12 tribes of Israel and have a significant role in his kingdom. And I will end it there and be back with verse 31 to the end of Luke 22.